Hello everyone, this is AndresRestart. I'm recording this video one day before Thanksgiving. There is so much going on right now. Metroid Prime 4 is coming out next week, and there are things to talk about when it comes to this game, so that's what I'm doing today, but I'm trying to do this all in one take due to time constraints, so please bear with me here. But yes, we have some pretty big things to talk about here. So yes, the game is out there. It is in the wild. There are people who have their hands on a physical copy of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and yes, I am very jealous. I am eagerly anticipating this game, and we are less than 8 days away. We are so close. But because of this situation, it does mean that leaks may get out there. So this video is going to function as a bit of a warning, but also an explanation as to how I will go about handling these leaks if they do indeed happen. Now, to be clear, if I do cover any kind of spoilers, I will provide ample warning. There will be nothing in the thumbnails, nothing in the title. There will be nothing in the beginning of the video. I will provide very clear, ample warning, as I have been for even the things we've talked about that have come out officially from Nintendo from the Japanese website, because some people feel like that's too much. So if it's just something where we're talking about the overview trailer or the previews, then that's fair game, but anything beyond that, pun intended, there will be clear, ample warning. And so I'm going to talk about this situation. Honestly, I hope the game doesn't get leaked. I really don't want to be spoiled on that stuff. I want to go into the game relatively blind. So, yeah, we're going to be careful about that. We're going to be talking more about that. But there are other things to get into today. From the Nintendo Today app, also pun intended there, yeah, we have new, stunning screenshots of Metroid Prime 4, which I'll be breaking down for today's video. And Nintendo has done something very unexpected regarding their marketing strategy for Metroid Prime 4 that is stirring some conversation, and I have some opinions on that as well. So we're getting into all of this today. Do you find yourself feeling tired, unable to take a good nap during the day from wherever you may be? Then perhaps you are in need of a soft, comfortable sleep mask that blocks out all light. Fortunately, Manta Sleep, the sponsor for today's video, has just that, a quality sleep mask. This sleep mask has super soft, comfy cushions that cover your eyes and block out all light. It's easy to adjust to different sizes, and it feels great to wear, and it's helped me personally fit in just a bit more rest during my days. So if you're looking to improve your sleep and energy, check out the Manta Sleep Mask using the link in the description below with my code SLEEPRESTART. And if you do so between the dates of November 19th to the 27th for an early Black Friday Cyber Monday sale, there is an additional 15% off the entire site, and you'll also get a free holiday recharge kit. Now's your chance. So here it is. This person has 7 copies of Metroid Prime 4 and a toothbrush, it looks like, in some sort of toy section for a store. And yep, I'm very jealous. This looks absolutely beautiful. I just want one. And in 8 days, less than 8 days, I will have just one beautiful, incredible copy of Metroid Prime 4. Now, the fact that there are physical copies in stores like this, and you're seeing people posting pictures with this in their hands, it does suggest that there's a very, very real possibility that some stores may break street date. There might even be ROM dumps, and this could lead to people live streaming the game when they are not allowed to. This could lead to just stories and things getting out there about this game that we are not meant to know until the game comes out. So yes, be careful. Now, how I'll go about handling things, I do not think I'm going to cover massive story leaks for this because I don't want to see them. Now, maybe some little thing might get out there that's interesting and I might talk about that, maybe, but honestly, we're so close, I'm very doubtful, and if I do, to be clear, if I do, you will know. There will be ample, clear, obvious warning, but also there will be nothing spoilery in the title and the thumbnail in the first few minutes for a video, and odds are I'm probably not going to cover it. Like, I'm just not going to do that. So don't worry, as I've always handled things here on the channel, if I do talk about anything that's spoilery, I provide ample, clear, obvious warning. Like, for example, we've talked about the stuff from the Japanese website. A lot of people don't want to see that stuff, and so I don't show that stuff in the title, in the thumbnail. I provide ample warning in case you're trying to avoid that, even though that's officially from Nintendo. Something that's not officially from Nintendo this close to release will be far, far, far more careful, so don't worry, I'm not going to spoil you here. But that all said, with the game out there, other people might, so be careful. Now, in some surprising news, Nintendo has announced that they are going to do launch streams. They are partnering with some top streamers to play Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. The top streamers, Tetra Ninja, and I don't know how to pronounce this name, I apologize. I think it's French, I don't speak French, but both these channels are here. You will find this article linked in the description below if you want to check out these channels here. I personally was scratching my head at this decision, in large part because, well, why didn't they pick me? Why? I could have played this game a few hours early, and I think it would have been a really, really good time. But looking at the channels here, like, you look at this person, nearly 2 million subscribers, huge channel, right? But then you look at the videos, and they do a lot of Let's Plays, and sometimes not even that frequent, and some of them won't even get that many views, so I was definitely kind of curious why they went in this decision, and I think the reason why is because they also like doing walkthroughs of games from the very beginning. As you see here with Tears of the Kingdom, 600,000+ views, so if they do something like that for Metroid Prime 4, could be a really big deal. And maybe the idea behind it is to try and get some streamers that a lot of Nintendo fans maybe are not paying too much attention to. That way, more people can get their eyes on Metroid Prime 4. So I think that's what's going on here. Like, we see this other creator, they are more known for their retro stuff, which is cool, but it doesn't even look like they do live streams. So I think the intent here is to reach an audience that wouldn't normally be looking at Metroid Prime 4 stuff. So, great for them. I'm so happy for them. Yeah, I'm definitely jealous. I wish I could be one of these people, but regardless, it's an interesting choice that Nintendo is doing. I think it's a good thing, though. I definitely do. I think, you know, having other people stream the game, more people are going to see the game. That's marketing. Nintendo's trying to some extent here with Metroid Prime 4. I mean, they've ramped up things a lot lately, so I'm not going to complain. But yeah, it's certainly an interesting choice, and if you are looking forward to watching streams of Metroid Prime 4, you can check out both these streamers. Again, the article will be linked in the description below, so you can check them out, follow their channels, and be ready for when they start streaming Metroid Prime 4 on December 3rd at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. But now on to these stunning new screenshots. We have 4. One of them is something we've seen before. It's Volt Forge. But there's more that we haven't seen before from Volt Forge here, so if you don't want to see them, here's your warning. But here we go. Let's move on to the next screenshot here. And as we see here, it's Samus in Morph Ball mode in the classic 2.5D Morph Ball sections we've seen from prior Metroid Prime games. It also reminds me of just 2D Metroid, and also reminds me of what Retro Studios used to do with the Donkey Kong Country games, how they just make really, really beautiful 2.5D environments. In other words, it's something where you play in 2 dimensions, but there's a 3D environment. Like, you look at the density of the background here, it's absolutely stunning. You look at the texture detail here, you look at the lighting, it's just awesome. One random thing I'm sure some people might point out, this part right here almost looks like a little small, like, kind of bear. Like, you see the little ears, the eyes, the nose. Like, if I zoom in more so, like, yeah, it does look kind of like a bear, I suppose, but I'm pretty sure that's just like compression plus smoke and stuff. I don't actually think there's a bear there, so that's not really that big of a deal. But this is a beautiful, beautiful screenshot of some Morph Ball gameplay, and I love it. But moving on, we have here another section of Volt Forge just suspended in the air. I still haven't quite figured out what the purpose of this is. It does feel like another morph ball section though, given that it's like kind of narrow and it looks like you could just roll through with the morph ball. So I have to assume this pertains to some sort of puzzle, but what really stands out to me is all of the drones. There are just so many of them out here, and I have to think that they're certainly going to be a threat. They got the red lights, that looks threatening to me, and there's a lot of them. And it actually reminds me of something I think we've seen a few times already from all the stuff that Nintendo has shared from the overview trailer and stuff, and that's that it appears that there's going to be this recurring motif of Samus having to deal with massive hordes of enemies. So it's not only going to be these drones, but also when Samus is ambushed by all those giant snow wolves, that's another example. Or perhaps all the grievers, they like to attack in large groups, and it seems like there might be some situations later into the game where it'll be more than just a handful, but a lot more. So there's definitely something going on here with hordes of enemies that maybe it's just something they can pull off now that that Retro Studios is working with hardware that's far more powerful than the GameCube or the Nintendo Wii, so they can put out a lot more enemies on screen. So it's certainly interesting. Something else I'll point out here are just like a lot of the weather effects. Like, yeah, obviously we see the lightning, we see all the clouds and stuff, but what I also notice is that you can see like rain here. I love how that's depicted. It's very realistic. That's how rain can sometimes look off into the distance. And then we also see a lot of water dripping through as well here. Like, that's some very interesting detail there. So cool stuff. Here we see one of the more brightly lit rooms in Volt Forge. You can see all the cool orange reddish lights, and there are some Cybots here that we will be battling. As you can see, one over here and one over here, but also we see these different chambers that open up, right? There's one here that's closed, and so this might even be kind of like a situation where there's a wave of battles here. Perhaps this is a test before we can maybe unlock Viola, perhaps, or some sort of power-up. I think there's certainly a strong possibility there. Like, there's a door here that isn't looking normal, so maybe this door is like barred, so we can't actually get past till we defeat these enemies. I think there's a strong possibility of that. I'll also point out we've seen a shot similar from the overview trailer that's not as brightly lit, but we do see like Viola motorcycle-like devices being pulled in the chambers like this. Now, before getting into this final and perhaps most interesting screenshot that we'll be talking about in today's video, if you have gone to this point in the video, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask that you subscribe if you haven't done so already. I have this goal to reach 60,000 subscribers, so your support, whether you're a returning subscriber or perhaps a new subscriber, is immensely appreciated. But now we move on to this final screenshot here, which is extremely interesting to me. I believe this is the room where we acquire Viola. Why? Well, we can see Viola here in the middle of the room, and there's even like a light there and some sort of apparatus that we could interact with. It looks like I think we walk here and we just get Viola. Now, there appears to be more than one. We've seen Viola or things that look like Viola in different screenshots. I think the idea is that there was an ancient civilization that used motorcycles, so that's what I think is going on here. And so Samus is going to get one, and it's going to be right here, and we're going to get it, and then we're going to test ride it. So you notice here that it appears to be almost like a tunnel. I fully expect that we are going to get into this and just ride into that tunnel, do a test ride. There'll be some sort of like mini game tutorial system where it's almost like a circuit or a race. That's what I'm kind of speculating there. We do see another opening over here, so it might be something where you go in a circle, you go in one way, come out the other. It could be you go in this way, come out this way, but I think the bike's actually facing this direction, so I'm inclined to think it's this. Also, that's what we see, so there may be a little bit of a hint as to what's going on there. And so that's what I think is going on here. We're going to get Viola in this room in the Volt Forge area, test it out on some sort of cool circuit, and then we're going to be able to use Viola all throughout the open expanses in Metroid Prime 4. And that's it. That's all the news we have to discuss today regarding Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Now, I will point out that there may be a little bit of a slowing of the amount of content I put out regarding Metroid Prime 4. I'm not saying I'm going to stop, it's still going to be a big focus, but there may be some other topics we talk about in the coming days. I still will talk about Metroid Prime 4, like, for example, there's probably going to be reviews coming out, or well, there will be reviews coming out early next week, so there will surely be a video on that. I may put out another final theory video or two, we'll see. Point is, there's still going to be some Metroid Prime 4 content, but we are getting close to the release of the game, so how we handle things is going to change somewhat, as I've been indicating. And I'll probably, yeah, I mean, I'm for sure going to do something about just covering my experience of the game as well. So I got some plans in mind. We'll be talking about that soon. But that is it for now, everyone. What do you make of all this latest news? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget, you can use my code SLEEPRESTART when checking the link in the description below for the Manta Sleep Mask. This is AndresRestart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I will see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.